At the intersection of true crime and real estate, you'll find Crime Estate. I'm Heather.
And my name is Elena. As real estate agents and true crime junkies, we view crimes through a different lens.
So walk through the door of some of the most notorious true crimes with us and discover how sometimes the scene of the crime has its own story to tell. Well, hey, y'all. Welcome to our very last episode of 2025. We are so thankful that you all have been Crime Estate listeners this year. And we thought it might be fun to wrap up the year with like some updates on some of the cases we've covered, chat about some of our favorite stories from the year. Plus, the story we were going to record today is sort of depressing. And we didn't really want to end the year on a depressing note.
Very depressing. Okay. So we'll start the year on a depressing note.
Right. I feel like we need to be better about depressing, kind of funny, depressing, kind of like, keep a little rhythm to it.
Yeah.
But you having a deep, thought-provoking episode that also is depressing is very on brand for you.
Yeah, it's my thing.
Yeah, but no ghost in this one that's coming up.
No ghosts. No
Okay.
ghosts.
That we know of.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll see. There's been some interesting developments in some of the stories we've discussed this year. In January, we dropped an episode about Lacey and Connor Peterson. Lacey's husband, Scott, was charged with their murders and has been in prison since 2004.
Right.
But this summer, Scott's attorneys presented evidence that he should get a new trial because one juror answered a juror questionnaire incorrectly, saying that she lied about being the victim of domestic violence. So that would have made attorneys, I guess, strike her from the jury pool. And so the petition is still ongoing.
Yeah, I was reading a little bit about that. And I guess, obviously, if the case is like a husband murdered his wife is what you're presenting, then you don't want somebody on the jury pool that has been the victim of domestic violence. But she said she wasn't that victim. And so then they were like, was she biased against him? Like, she had been abused. So did she, just assume that he would be an abuser too? I think it's actually a really interesting legal question. If you listen to that episode, we 100% think Scott killed Lacey. But from the legal standpoint, it's sort of a fascinating.
Right. I wonder how they figure that out too.
Well, and so long after the fact.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the more... I went into that story kind of neutral because I kind of like a conspiracy or thinking maybe things aren't exactly how we are. So I'm open to the storyline. And it was one of those stories that we had always heard about, but I'd never actually deep dived myself into. And then the more we heard about it, I'm like, yeah, he's guilty. Right? How is he not guilty? Mm-hmm. But there are people who don't agree. So if you haven't listened to that story, we recommend and go check that story out from back in January. God, that seems like both so long ago.
800,000 years ago. Seeing those memes going around right now that's like, if 2020 me told 2025 me what's going to happen in the next year, or 2025 me, I guess, told 2020 me. And you're just like, what? No way. Like the last 5 years feel like we've lived 50.
Seriously.
Something reminded me of COVID the other day. And I was like, oh my God, that was so long ago.
The fact that everybody is so sick right now. What else? Were there any other updates from stories that we did this year?
So, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just going to say, one of the stories that I was really interested in, I'm still interested in this year. In March, we did that episode on the disappearance and the investigation into Suzanne Morphew in Colorado. And that one just lived in my head. I had been looking and kind of reading some of the Reddit for a while. So in case you guys don't remember, this was the woman who had gone missing in Colorado, kind of a little bit outside, and not in Denver, and more rural Colorado in a beautiful area. And she had just gone missing on, I think, Mother's Day.
Yes, that's right.
But there was a lot of people suspecting her husband, and he had even been arrested at one point, but then had not been charged. But and they did not have her body, but then they did find her body while investigating an entirely separate missing person. And a few months later, in June, her husband, Barry, was arrested for her murder. And that trial is expected to start next summer, so the summer of 2026. So,
Melanie, who was the gal that did that you were obsessed with when the Murdaugh trial was going on. Remember, like the lawyer that did the podcast?
Now you're putting me on the spot. But
I'm
yes,
sorry.
I know exactly who you're
I
talking
was
about.
thinking about this case today. And I was like, I wonder if she'll cover this trial.
Oh,
I would
yes.
love to know what she thinks about it because she was really fascinating. We'll figure out
Yeah,
her name
yeah.
and link her in the show notes. But
She's really good. But yeah, so that was an interesting story. Heather, do you remember what was so crazy about that story?
well, oh, yes. I mean, didn't he tell investigators that he was chasing squirrels? That was the thing we couldn't get over. They were like, we
Yeah.
see your cell phone data and it's running around your property. And he was like, oh, I was just chasing squirrels.
Horrifying. That was really hard to listen to. That part for me,
Yes.
just like thinking
Yeah.
about the terror that she might have endured, and he was chasing her. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're right. And then when they finally indicted him, it was something like whatever he had used because he tranquilized her. He shot her with like a tranquilizer gun.
Allegedly.
Yes, allegedly. But when they found her body, she had whatever this chemical that would have been in the tranquilizer dart in her body, and they were like, the only person that had purchased this in the state of Colorado was her husband.
I mean, to me, that was a smoking gun.
Yeah.
But then once again, it was another one of the stories that the daughters were standing by their dad. And I mean, and you always feel for the children. And these were like, young adult children, college age, I think at the time of their
Yeah.
mother's disappearance.
Yeah, we'll have to like really follow that one
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
year and post some updates on our
But
socials.
yes, so that was another really good one. If you did not hear that story, please go back and check that one from March.
Yeah. Well, then our most listened to episode of 2025, of the 23 episodes we dropped this year, was Dr. Eric. And
Yeah.
the story of the doctor's Alaskan cruise helped him discover the charming town of Ketchikan.
I think they called it like Ketchikan.
So,
Ketchikan.
yeah, I don't know.
People had lots to say about how we pronounce things this
Yeah,
year.
right. Yeah,
We're
But
just
that was
doing our
most-
best.
Yes, definitely. But I was surprised that was the most listened to. We couldn't figure out like why. Like why would that be the most listened to?
Yeah. And so that was the story where the boyfriend robbed and murdered him. Yeah, that was interesting. Like, that was a really cool, interesting story, but honestly, it did not hit any of our normal kind of spots that I would have assumed that our listeners, it wasn't in Texas or in California, which seems to be a lot of our stories. It wasn't, it was an interesting house, but nothing particularly historic about the home. But yeah, that was one of the stories that surprised me that you guys kind of came up with. But yeah, I'm really surprised. That was our most listened by far episode.
Well, so I'm curious, did y'all have a favorite episode that we recorded this year?
Me?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
You go first.
Well, I really liked George Remus.
George Remus was fun. Plus,
that-
your cocktails were so good. For
The
that
cocktails were really
I
good.
forgot about that part.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Forgot how much I liked that. Yeah,
Yeah.
those were good. I like any story that we can take a history detour. So I really appreciated that one. And then I also enjoyed the Colin Small because I feel like along with Morphew, we can keep an eye on that this year and see
Yes.
kind of where the trial takes us on that case. So that'll be fun to update.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Mel?
Yeah. So one of the things that always laughs at me or makes me laugh is that we can spend so much time looking and talking and researching these stories. And then like a few months later, I'll hear a name and I'm like, do I know that name at all? And then I realized, no, we just did that story 4 months ago. No, a couple of the stories that I really enjoyed was the River Oaks episode. And that was, I think, episode, I had to look it up, in April this year. It was...
Blood, Money, and Murder in River Oaks. I don't know why that's just off the top of my head, but it is.
Well,
right?
it
Is that
was
what we called it?
Yes, it was a clever naming. And then I also really enjoyed the Candy story. Do you remember Candy, who was also kind of related to River Oaks as well?
Oh, Candy Mosler,
Yeah,
maybe?
yes.
Oh, yes.
From
Remember, she's the one
Houston.
that dated her nephew.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, from Houston heiress to Miami mayhem.
That's right. That was
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah.
And those were two kind of Houston River Oaks adjacent stories that took place, I think, about a decade apart. I grew up in the Houston suburbs, so I always always was in awe of the River Oaks kind of mansions and history. But both of those had an era of history that was really interesting. But the candy one was pretty funny because it was unusual. And I don't want to give too much away to our listeners if you haven't heard that story. But if you like a bombshell kind of story, if you want ones that the woman was a boss bitch of her era, and there is definitely historical elements, and that's a pretty interesting one. And obviously, spoiler alert, she has an affair with her nephew.
Yeah.
Blood nephew.
Yeah. Yeah, that was so gross.
That's very gross.
I think I actually enjoyed most the one we just recorded. To Mel's point, like, you're so in it when we're researching and recording that it's almost hard to remember some of the others we did because it's like, okay, you wrap that up in a bow, we drop the episode, and we move on to something else. Mm-hmm. But when we did the higher the hair, the closer to God, which was Gwen Shamblin's story.
That was just the other day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just the other day. But I got to ask my mom some questions, and that was really fun. So I think that was my favorite we've done this year, just because I got to do something a little different.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
We love your mom.
Yeah, she's so sweet. And also in the episode, she said that she doesn't listen to Crime Estate, but I remembered she listened to us do one live. So
Well, yeah, I mean, when she's here, she likes to sit and record with
so
them, but I don't think she remembers how to get the podcast off of her phone and listen to them. I mean, my mom's real with it for her age. It's just not something she does.
right. Yeah.
Well, she's in the kitchen right now, so after this recording, we'll have to go in.
That's right. Okay, remind her.
We'll
how to
go
pull up
remind
the
her.
podcast. We got the best listener email on that episode, though. So Jan wrote in to say, so many things I relate to. I went through the Way Down workshop a couple of sessions. The theory was good, but I had too many issues to make it work. This was way before Gwen got crazy. And then I still have these. And she attaches a picture. She said, I think I actually bought the player 6 to 7 years ago so I could listen. And so she sends us a picture of these Kathy Smith walk fit tapes. Remember we talked about that with my mom and her Walkman. So, Jan, that's awesome. You totally made my week when you sent that.
That was really sweet. Yes, that really made our day. So thank you for sending that. Side note.
For listeners who haven't heard that episode yet, that's one of our most recent episodes. And it's an interesting story.
Yeah,
So,
And if you're, we've had a lot of people like, oh, I can't listen to like murder or like something scary. It's not scary. It's a different type of crime.
Yes.
So it's an easy listen.
When I was editing that episode, Aaron had walked past and I had the picture of the Kathy Smith, I think, when I was putting it into the episode. And I was commenting, Heather interviewed her mom for this, whose name is also Kathy. And when he went by, he thought that the picture of Kathy Smith was your mom. And I'm like, no, that's not. It's like, that's Heather's mom.
I mean, Aaron has met my mom, but I guess maybe he thought
he's not met your mom from the 80s
version.
Yes.
Well, your mom has like a very short, kind of cool girl haircut. That is not the Gwen type haircut from recently. Remember the big
Right. Yeah. But he thought the Kathy Smith cover was Heather's mom. No, it's not. Yeah. So we also got an interesting email from listeners. We got a lot of emails, which is great. But here's one from Julie. I'm going to read what she said. So a friend sent me a link to a podcast your sons did on my house, the one where our sons give us a week off. I don't mind it. When we were purchasing a home with a history that things like this happen. The only thing is, man, y'all got so many things wrong. Like not even close to how things really happen. Where did y'all get your info from? Just curious. Anyway, let the kids know that we have 3 dogs and no, they do not smell the blood from the crime. Also, they had me laughing constantly saying it looks like the Home Alone house. I've been told that so many times and I don't see it at all. Y'all have a good night. And if you ever find yourself in Atlanta, feel free to invite yourselves over for a tour. Although we've gutted it so the inside looks completely different than the pics you found on Realtor.com. No clue why those were never taken down. So yeah,
That's awesome.
it was sweet. It was,
I feel bad because I keep meaning to reply to Julie, but this is not like our real job. And so I just forget. But Julie, like we have talked about this email so many times.
Yeah.
So many
We've
times.
made our boys read it and they were mortified.
My son was like covered his ears and wanted to run from the room. He was so embarrassed.
Aw.
No.
Yeah.
No, let's be clear. That episode was As much as we love our brilliant young men, it was awful. And as their moms, we can't even like listen to it. It was so
was so
cringy,
bad.
embarrassing. But our boys really wanted to record one. And yeah, they thought that was the one to do it on. And we hope you kept listening to others because hopefully we get a lot more right. We are not journalists here. We do take research seriously. That one we do not research. So, please give us
It was a
some.
good lesson for our boys. Like, you might research something and people will call you out on it when you don't get it right. So good for them.
Absolutely. We're my kids in all their classes. We're talking about citations, and historical accuracy. But no, we totally will look you up if we end up in Atlanta. And I still say your house does look very Home Alone, just more like Home Alone in the South.
I think that would be one of my goals for 2026 is we need to do an on location episode.
Yeah,
and
we
we've
were talking
talked
about
about that from day one. It just hasn't happened because, we work and have children and are busy. But I think that would be super fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. So thank you very much, Julie. And we are kind of embarrassed, but we loved getting your email.
Okay, so Coco 2020 wrote in with some pronunciation help for the episode we did on the murder of Kathy Krosnick. And she says, please look up how to pronounce, I'm going to say it
You're
the way
gonna mess it up.
I said it probably in the episode, Weyerhaeuser. I think Google might be able to help with pronunciation. I'm from Washington and my husband worked for the company for years. And that is not the correct way. Not trying to be rude or mean, just trying to help, which I appreciate because we butcher stuff, I'm sure, in terms of pronunciation all the time.
Yeah.
And I think we overthink it too. Like when we're talking before we record, we'll say it. And then once we start recording, we'll say it a different way, or then we'll start repeating the way each other says it. So it's bad. We admit.
I did use Google. Thank you, Coco 2020. And you pronounce the word as Weyerhaeuser, not like, I think I was pronouncing it like a Weimaraner.
Yes,
But
yeah.
this is more like, okay, so Weyerhaeuser. So I'm positive I did not pronounce it Weyerhaeuser, but now we know. So if you don't remember that episode, so this one was like sort of an old one. In 1982, Kathy Krosnick was found murdered in her Brighton, New York home with an axe embedded in her skull, and her young daughter was left unharmed in another room. The case was cold for like 4 decades. And then finally, they ended up arresting her husband, Jim Krosnick, for the murder, 40 years later. And he had gone on to remarry and all sorts of other things.
And that was one of the ones that I did not recognize her name. But once you start giving me those clues, I'm like, oh yes, no, I definitely remember
the story now. And we got some good comments on YouTube on this episode as well. At ETS638 says, I live in Brighton, New York. I was the same age as Kathy and had a daughter 5 months younger than Sarah. I was living alone in my home as my husband played in NHL and I chose not to go. He was traded right before Christmas. And I didn't have the energy to repack and move to another city halfway through the year. I was terrified when this occurred. I couldn't sleep. I even went and stayed at my mom's for a few weeks. I started having panic attacks. I was always a scared kid, and this drove me nuts. I was fine when my husband came back. However, it stayed in the spotlight for a very long time. Brighton is an upscale area outside of Rochester, New York, and things like that don't happen in Brighton. Glad you're covering the story. It stayed with me over the years, and I felt it was always the husband. It made the most sense to me. Winter is very long, gray, and cold here. Sounds right. And then she goes on, she leaves us a second comment, which I love. She says, ladies, you answered your own question. Why he did it? He was on the fast track to being a bigwig, and she was from the wrong side of the tracks. He wanted a woman who could move within a country club, upper echelon type of people. He was married 3 times. He has issues. My husband and I were very good friends with the head of the Brighton Police Department and with a number of the police officers. They always thought he did it. It was 1982, and they didn't have all of the types of ways to connect people to a crime like we have today. Then she goes on to say, Dr. Baden, pronounced Baden. She does tell me how to pronounce it, so thank you for that.
Or actually,
Baden.
Oh, do you think it's Baden?
That's what I would
like
say.
when she goes
Oh, you're right.
BAA, Baden.
Yeah, you're right, Ba. I'm going to need, I need it to be like the sheep. So Dr. Baden, he's a very famous man. You should read up on him. Perhaps doing some homework on people that show up in your stories beforehand would give you additional information, like Dr. Baden. You're a young woman. It doesn't surprise me that you're not aware of him, but calling him into a case is a very big deal. He's very experienced. Nothing like a man running away in the middle of the night, avoiding talking to the police. It seems pretty odd to the people of Rochester. Sorry I've gone on so long. Happy holidays. I love it.
I like
love
that she
has
calls
so
young
much
women.
information.
I
Right?
mean-
Yeah, I like that. But I know Dr. Bott. He had a TV show on HBO. Do y'all remember that one?
No. What?
No. Okay. Tell us about Dr. Bodden.
Oh, he's a very famous autopsy guy. I don't know what.
Oh, and did we talk about him in this case?
I don't remember. I think we did, and I think we did, but we didn't touch into. I mean, we can't digest or dissect every single thing. Oh, that's poor taste because he's an autopsy. But you know what I mean. We can't do that on every single person in every single episode. But yes,
Yeah,
we did. I
no.
think we did mention him.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is really interesting, though. And I liked her line about nothing like a man running away in the middle of the night. Well, that's kind of what happened, if you recall, with where we started in our very beginning. Do you remember in the John Bonet, and for our newer listeners, we deep dived on a 3-part episode in the very beginning on John Bonet Ramsey and her amazing house, and how really the scene of the crime there was very really part of that investigation. But remember how her parents got on a plane the very next day and left Colorado, going back to maybe Atlanta area, never to return. And which was one of those things that, I would want to be around to make sure that crime was solved. And they took a different approach than you and I might have taken of. But Dr. Baden?
Bodden.
Shit. See, this is what we do. We overthink it. But anyway, happy holidays. We love you. Thank you so much for replying on our YouTube. YouTube has been a new venture for us this year, though it means we can't quite roll into record without any makeup anymore. A lot of times we used to say, I'm coming in my workout clothes or my sweats. And now we have to at least
Do y'all remember when my husband told me he thought I needed to sit up straighter?
We remember.
He said that with love, but I haven't forgotten it.
Yeah. But, and so this gets us to our most watched YouTube episode of this year.
Yeah.
And you told us about this with 987 views. Thank you very much.
That's incredible. Like, who is watching us on YouTube for
I don't know.
987
Yeah,
times?
that's crazy.
No.
I mean, we are cute.
I promise you.
We're young women, apparently.
Yeah, very young. This is amazing.
We are all much cuter in person, I can promise you that. Was Bohemian Tragedy, the life and death of Roseanne Quinn.
So we were talking earlier on why this one, and it just occurred to me as we're speaking. I think we put the murder weapon. I think that was on one of the pictures.
Oh.
I feel like that. Like, I don't know if that's the cause, but maybe.
Well, what are people Googling that they Googling? So, what are people like searching?
Oh, it was like, you can't say Googling anymore? Does that make her
I
old?
just sounded old.
I
when
say
said
it,
What are
Googling.
people searching that they come across that? I don't know. I think it's fascinating. I mean, our kids watch YouTube all the time. It's not something, unless I need to learn how to do something, I don't go to YouTube.
Right.
Same.
I mean, the best instance of me having to use YouTube this year was when my car had a flat. Remember that? Because we were all supposed to be recording, and I had to tell you guys, I'm stuck with a flat tire in my office parking garage. And so my son and husband came, but we had never changed the flat tire of that, that vehicle. And where the spare, the donut tire was kind of, it was not self-explanatory. And so I'm sitting there watching YouTube videos in my broken down car, trying to understand how to find out where the tire is. So that to me is a great use of YouTube. How you're finding the life and death of Roseanne Quinn? We love for a comment.
You are.
I don't know. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but that was an interesting story too. That was a New York City 1970s story. Wasn't there movies made?
Yes, we haven't watched that yet. We need to watch it.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Ooh, you know what we need to do? Well, maybe ChatGPT can do this for us. We need to compile a list of all the movies and TV shows that we've said we need to watch and put that out, because people are like coming up for the holidays. They're going to have some time.
Yeah.
And
That's a great
we've got
idea.
a long list.
That's
but
a good
I don't know how
idea.
to do that without listening to every episode.
Yeah. Well, can we
If somebody else wants to do that and send it to us,
yes.
that'd be great.
Pay our children to do that. Although who knows what they're going to be coming up with.
I mean.
But yes, that was an instance of another good story that kind of like that Dr. Eric story that I would not have guessed would have been on our top episodes. But I kind of love that. I kind of love how things that are random resonate with people. But once again, we love hearing from our listeners, even even our constructive being the key word, criticism, and we will do a better job of trying to get correct pronunciation. I promise you, we will fact check as much as we can, especially if our children ever become involved again on this. But we also love hearing your ideas of different stories, or if you have a different perspective on a story that you live there or you knew the people. We joke, but we care. Like, we really do care. Like, and we take this emotionally, and it's important to us. So we love hearing from you. The other day we were all recording, and remember this, I was like, guys, look, I had a Facebook post. Yeah, we're old. We still Facebook. And Lauren Ortega, I hope you get listening to this. She had asked a question on a neighborhood site about schools, and I had made a comment about it, completely not related to Crime Estate, and she was kind of very complimentary and fanning out on this Facebook post because she recognized my name, and then I'm like fanning out, like, oh my God, guys, somebody recognized us in the wild, not at all related.
It wasn't just our mom.
I know. Well, and then I was like, guys, I mean, are y'all friends with her? But like in real life, and because I just assumed, somebody was a friend, and it turned out no, it was like a friend of a friend of a friend kind of scenario. So anyway, that makes our day. We love it. We love your ideas for stories. We love your comments. So keep them going. And we get into flows, and then life gets busy because we are all working moms. But in 2026, our goal is to be at least consistent, even if there's breaks, to be consistent and to take advantage of the times that we do have with each other to record. And we'd love to hear your recommendations.
What are you looking forward to in 2026, Elena?
With this or just in general?
Well, both. I mean,
okay.
The mic is yours.
Okay, here we go. I think I would love to be more consistent with our posting for sure. I want that to be a big goal.
And I want people to go to our social media and like chime in on things because we're going to ramp that up this year.
Yes.
And we've been good about posting our episodes on Spotify, but we have not been good about having a corresponding post on Instagram, to make sure that people who might be notified about it in different ways. Because if you're only looking at our Instagram, you might not realize how many more episodes we have posted.
Yeah, monetize would be amazing. If we could figure out how to do that.
Thanks for buying us coffee.
Yes.
We really appreciate it.
That was really great. And collaboration. We want to do some collaborations.
Well, do you want to share like some details on that?
Well, we have a friend who does an F1 podcast, and she is really great, and she's very, very lovely, and she kind of comes at it. It's two guys, a girl, and F1. And she does it with two men who have been avid F1 fans their whole lives, and then she's kind of the newbie coming in. But it's fun because she has such a passion for it, and it's really fun to hear her get really excited about it. So we're thinking of some kind of crossover we can do between the two, and certainly there's some true crime in F1 somewhere.
We're like, find us a good F1 true crime story.
Yeah, so that'll be a fun collaboration to start the year off with, and maybe that can go into other veins of things. Who knows?
Yeah, I love that. We have another lady that reached out to us about a collab on a podcast she has done that we're considering doing that too. It's an interesting story. But it's one that's going to take a lot of research on our parts, and so we just have to figure out if we have the bandwidth for that right now.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah. What about you, Mel? What are you most looking forward to in the coming year?
other than getting my son into college.
Like,
No.
goal number one.
No. I have.
Well, he's already in.
Yeah, you're right. No. He is definitely going to great school for his major. He's gotten into multiple schools that he's excited about. We just got. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But in terms of Crime Estate, just more continuity, more having episodes that resonate with our listeners and interest. And I would love next summer, next fall, for us to do a recording on the road, aka an excuse for a girls' trip.
Yeah. If you guys have a good idea for an on location episode, let us know. I think that would be so fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you have your passport now, right?
I do. Yeah.
Awesome. We're ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Just not on a long boat ride, and not somewhere where I might get kidnapped, or that's probably it. I don't want to get kidnapped and no boat rides.
Okay. I'm going to need to understand your criteria for not get kidnapped.
Somewhere, I don't know, or I don't know.
You do know you live near downtown Dallas.
Yeah. I can't get kidnapped here.
This is the safest place in the whole wide world.
Hello.
Well, listen, seriously, from the bottom of our hearts, thank y'all so much for listening this year. It is really like such a passion project. Sounds weird because it's true crime, but like it's something that we do spend a lot of time on. We do take it very seriously. We do like really think about the best way to tell these stories to honor the victims. And we appreciate you guys tagging along for the ride. And so if you want to help support the podcast, you can always buy us a coffee. You can do that on our website, on Instagram, pretty much anywhere you find us. There's a link to buy us a coffee. It's probably more like, what am I drinking now? Vodka and orange juice. Mm-hmm. Mel's drinking a little bit of red wine. But either way, we appreciate it. And it helps us keep the mics on around here.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for listening and being a part of our Crime Estate family.
If you're curious about today's featured crime estate, you can find additional photos and details from today's episode online at crimeestate.com or on Facebook and Instagram by following at Crime Estate Podcast.
Have a crime estate we should cover? Let us know. Shoot us an email at crimeestatepodcast@gmail.com. Until next week.